Nova Scotia MP Chris D'Entremont says his decision to cross the floor to the Liberals was sealed after a visit to his office by Conservative House Leader Andrew Scheer and Conservative Party Whip Chris Warkentin. The meeting happened on Budget Day after Politico broke the news that D'Entremont was on the verge of defection. Now, all sides agree there was a meeting, but the agreement ends there, based on very different versions of that meeting from D'Entremont in a CBC interview and the Conservatives in a statement.
You know, I had the leader, the House Leader and the Whip barge into my office, push my assistant aside, rush in, push, take the door and just push it wide open.
When Mr. D'Entremont's assistant opened the door was open wide enough to come through, so they calmly entered into the reception area. Mr. D'Entremont came out of his office and invited Mr. Scheer and Mr. Warkentin to come inside and take a seat.
To sit there and, tell me how much of a snake I really was and turning my back on my constituents and the people that voted for me and really underline the situation that I made this decision.
They took a seat in the office and sat for a moment before Mr. Scheer calmly asked Mr. D'Entremont if he was just considering this move, as was reported in the media, or if he had already made up his mind. At that point, Mr. D'Entremont confirmed that the arrangement to join the Liberal caucus was complete.
It wasn't about, hey man, maybe you're not doing well, maybe we've misunderstood what your objectives were. There was none of that.
Mr. Scheer reminded Mr. D'Entremont of the efforts his Conservative colleagues made to try and support his election to the role of Speaker of the House. He wondered aloud that if the Conservative caucus had selected Mr. D'Entremont to be the Deputy Speaker, he would not have taken the decision to join the Liberals. Mr. D'Entremont replied, "That's probably right."
Yeah, of course that made me a little upset, but I'm an adult and I moved on.
Mr. Warkentin pointed out that last week you told me you would never cross the floor. Mr. D'Entremont's response was, "I guess it is what it is." Mr. Scheer responded in a calm and measured voice to inform Mr. D'Entremont that his decision could not be taken for noble reasons, and that deep down he would know that turning his back on friends and the people who elected him are the actions of a snake.
It was just, how dare you do that? How dare you? And it really pushed me to a point where it's like, okay, well, I guess my decision is made for sure now.
Mr. Scheer signaled his disappointment and stated he did not wish to remain in the meeting as he did not want to become frustrated. He then quietly left the room. Mr. Warkentin remained in the office and sat with Mr. D'Entremont. Mr. Warkentin asked Mr. D'Entremont again if the decision was final. Mr. D'Entremont confirmed that it was a done deal. He mentioned that it did not happen in the way he intended. Mr. Warkentin expressed his disappointment and shook Mr. D'Entremont's hand before leaving the meeting.
Chris D'Entremont just dropped an absolutely explosive allegation, claiming Conservative House Leader Andrew Scheer and Party Whip Chris Warkentin barged into his office, nearly knocked down his assistant, and screamed at him about being a snake after rumors of his defection to the Liberals surfaced. The Conservatives are calling him a liar and insisting the meeting was calm and measured. So who is telling the truth, and what does this say about the absolute chaos currently consuming Pierre Poilievre's caucus? Welcome to Canada Newsletter, where we break down the he said drama that is tearing the Conservative Party apart. Before we dive into the conflicting accounts of what actually happened in that office and why this matters for Poilievre's increasingly shaky leadership, hit that subscribe button and click the notifications bell. You will not want to miss how this political soap opera continues to unfold. Right, let us get into this properly messy situation. Nova Scotia MP Chris D'Entremont says the barging into his office and yelling from Conservative Party leadership sealed the deal on his choice to cross the floor of the House of Commons to the Liberals this week. After D'Entremont's musings over a possible defection were reported by Politico on Tuesday, the MP says Conservative House Leader Andrew Scheer and Party Whip Chris Warkentin barged into his office, pushed open the door, almost knocking down his assistant, and yelled at him about how much of a snake he was. It really pushed me to a point where it is like, okay, I guess my decision is made for sure now, he said in an interview on CBC's Rosemary Barton Live that aired Sunday morning with guest host Catherine Cullen. Describing the negativity and beating up on someone else coming from Conservative leadership, D'Entremont said, "A lot of times I felt it was part of a frat house rather than a serious political party. That is a brutal indictment of the party's culture under Poilievre. The Conservative Party has denied d'Entremont's allegations. Chris d'Entremont, who established himself a liar after willfully deceiving his voters, friends, and colleagues because he was upset he did not get his coveted deputy speaker role, is now spinning more lies after crossing the floor. He will fit in perfectly in the Liberal caucus, a spokesperson for the office of the leader of the official opposition said in a Sunday morning statement to CBC News. That response is aggressive and personal, which is telling in itself. In a separate statement to CBC News on Sunday evening, the OLO acknowledged Scheer and Warkentin went to d'Entremont's office on Tuesday, but said when Mr. d'Entremont's assistant opened the door was open wide enough to come through, so they calmly entered into the reception area. The statement went on to say Scheer spoke in a calm and measured voice when he told d'Entremont that his actions would not be seen as noble, and that deep down he would know that turning his back on friends and the people who elected him are the actions of a snake. The OLO's recounting of that encounter, says Scheer, quietly left the room at the end of the meeting, whilst Warkentin stayed behind. After a few more words, Warkentin shook d'Entremont's hand before also leaving the room, according to the OLO statement. So we have two completely different versions of the same meeting. d'Entremont claims it was aggressive and confrontational, sealing his decision to leave. The Conservatives claim it was calm and measured, just honest feedback about betrayal. The truth likely lies somewhere in between, but the fact that these accounts are so wildly different suggests deep dysfunction within the Conservative caucus. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, this has been Canada Newsletter.